The crucial European Parliament elections just concluded, with citizens from 27 EU member states voting for 720 members of the Assembly. The two main centrist groups, the centre-left Progressive Alliance of Socialists and Democrats and the centre-right European People's Party, have lost ground. The beneficiaries? Parties on the left, and more notably, the so-called hard right. This is part of an article written by the Marxist economist Michael Roberts, where you can find this article and others at www.thenextrecession.wordpress.com. These hard-right parties mentioned earlier generally oppose immigration, further EU economic and political integration, and green policies. They're also reluctant to back EU leaders' foreign policies, particularly regarding support for the US and NATO in the Ukraine war. Despite their differences, they're gaining traction due to Europe's weak economic recovery post-COVID, high inflation, stagnant output, and declining exports and investment. Europe's economy has struggled significantly. After the 2008-9 Great Recession and the 2020 pandemic slump, the recovery has been weak. In the 1980s, Europe contributed 25% of world GDP, growing at about 2% annually. By the 2020s, its shares dropped below 15%, with growth barely at 1%. In 2023, core countries like France and Germany faced outright recession, driven by high energy prices after ditching cheap Russian gas in favour of more expensive imports. Europe's manufacturing sector has been contracting for the last 2 years. While there are still large disparities between the richer and poorer Eastern European states, the latter have made some progress. After joining the EU in 2004, their GDP per capita nearly doubled by 2019. However, this convergence is somewhat misleading, as it's been driven by falling populations and immigration. A major issue for Europe is its declining population, particularly the working age population. Countries like Germany, Portugal, Italy, and Greece are projected to see significant declines by 2050. Eastern European countries like Bulgaria, Latvia, and Moldova face even steeper declines. To compensate, Europe needs a significant rise in productivity, but it remains 25% below US levels. Despite EU support schemes like the Recovery and Resilience Facility, which is set to end in 2026, there is a split on whether to maintain EU public spending or cut back to meet budget targets. One area where spending won't be limited is defence. With NATO membership expanding to include Finland and Sweden, European leaders are urging citizens to prepare for war. Military spending is up 7% this year, targeting 2% of GDP by each NATO member. The war in Ukraine has already hit European industry hard, increasing costs across the board. Profitability in core Europe has plummeted since the Great Recession, with no recovery post-pandemic. France's profitability is down over 30%, Germany's over 25%. Each new member states in the East, except Poland, have seen falling profitability. Europe's relative economic and political decline looks set to continue, with increasing divisions among member states on the direction to take. Voter turnout for the European Assembly elections has been low, ranging from 42 to 51% in recent votes. Interestingly, the Eastern European states that gain the most economically have the lowest polling ratios. Despite the challenges, there's still strong support among Europe's citizens for a united Europe, although this has declined since the pandemic. Surveys show mixed sentiments about the economy, with a slight majority still supporting the EU, even among those on the right in countries like Hungary or Slovakia. However, if Europe's economies continue to lose ground and face global power struggles between the US and China, this support may dissipate by the next EU Assembly. We will also have this article linked in the description. Please like, share, and comment on the video. Subscribe for more updates to our YouTube channel. Go to our website at www.lefthorizons.com and subscribe to our newsletter, and we will see you next time.